still remember the first time I felt it. My phone buzzed and their name appeared on the screen. Just three simple words. Good morning, smiley face. That was it. Nothing more, nothing less. But my body reacted like I had just won the lottery. My heart raced, my stomach twisted, and suddenly the world around me went silent. That text, as ordinary as it looked to anyone else, became the spark that lit up my entire day. From that moment on, I knew something inside me had changed. People call it butterflies, but for me it felt like an entire storm of wings beating against my ribs. Back then, whenever I tried to explain how I felt, most people dismissed it. Teachers told me I was distracted, my friends teased me endlessly, and adults laughed, shaking their heads, saying, "You're too young to know what love is." But how could I explain that it didn't feel small? It didn't feel fake. It felt like the most important thing in my life. I'd sit in class, the teacher's voice turning into background noise, while my mind replayed the way they smiled at me the day before. I would stare at the same sentence in my textbook for minutes, realizing I hadn't absorbed a single word because their face kept showing up in my imagination. To everyone else, it was just teenage drama. To me, it was the center of my world. I began to notice how much of my day revolved around them. The songs I listened to were suddenly their favorite songs. My playlists shifted from loud rock to quiet indie ballads because they once mentioned they loved it. Even the way I dressed changed. I started wearing navy blue jackets because they wore one often, and somehow I felt closer to them just by slipping it on. It sounds silly now, but at that time, every small detail mattered. One afternoon in the library, we ended up sitting next to each other. Their arm brushed mine, just a tiny touch, but it sent a shiver down my spine. I remember holding my breath, afraid that even breathing too loudly would break the magic of the moment. My palms were sweaty, my mind went blank, and all I could focus on was the space between us, so close yet still so far. That one brush of skin felt like electricity, like the entire universe had just reminded me they were real, not just a dream I replayed in my head. But it wasn't always beautiful. I remember the nights when they took longer than usual to reply to my texts. I would stare at the screen, rereading my last message, wondering if I had said something wrong. Did that period at the end sound too cold? Should I have added a smiley face? Hours felt like days, and every minute of silence echoed like rejection. I'd lie awake watching the clock, inventing explanations in my head, most of them painful. Looking back, I can see how desperate I was for reassurance. But at that time, I didn't care if it made me restless. They were worth the wait. There was this one school trip I'll never forget. We were sitting by the lake, the sun low in the sky, the air filled with laughter from classmates scattered across the grass. I watched them joke with another friend, their face glowing in the golden light. And suddenly, jealousy hit me so hard it felt like I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened, my stomach churned, and I hated myself for feeling it. We weren't even together. They hadn't promised me anything. Yet the thought of losing their attention to someone else stung like salt in an open wound. I remember turning away, pretending to be interested in the water, but my mind was a storm. Every laugh they shared with that other friend felt like a dagger, and every smile not directed at me felt like a loss. And yet, beneath the jealousy, there was another feeling, a softer one. I realized that even if it hurt, I wanted them to be happy. Their laughter, even when not meant for me, was still beautiful. That paradox tore me apart, wanting to hold on but also wanting them free. And then there were the little things, moments that seemed insignificant but meant everything to me. Like when they lent me their pen during math class and I held on to it for hours, reluctant to give it back because it carried a piece of them. Or the time we both reached for the same snack at the vending machine and our fingers touched. A fleeting second, but one I replayed in my head for weeks. Teenage love wasn't logical. It was raw, messy, consuming. It filled the air I breathed, the songs I heard, the food I ate, even the dreams I dreamed. Looking back now, I can't say for certain whether what I felt back then was true love by adult standards, but I know it was true to me. It was real in every way that mattered at that moment. Teenage love is powerful because it's not just about another person, it's about discovering yourself in the process. You learn how deeply you can feel, how vulnerable you can be, and how much joy and pain can live in the same heart. Maybe it doesn't last forever. Maybe it ends sooner than you wish. But that doesn't make it meaningless. Those moments, those memories shape you. They carve lessons into your soul about hope, about jealousy, about letting go, and about the quiet beauty of wanting someone else's happiness. So if you've ever stayed up all night replaying a conversation or felt your heart leap at the sight of a simple text, know this. Your feelings are real. They matter. Don't let anyone dismiss them as nothing, because love at any age is still love, and it deserves to be felt, remembered, and honored.